Ladies, spin your circle bright, weave your web of dark and light. Earth, air, fire and water, bind us as one.
Hi everyone, this is CricketSong with Lunar Wisdom, and today I wanted to talk about circle casting. And I know there's been a lot of discussion about do you cast circle, should you cast circle, why you don't cast circle, and just everybody's insights and thoughts and practices in regards to circle casting. Now, this is my opinion and only my opinion, and understand that this is coming from my perspective and my experience with circle casting. When I first started actively practicing ritual and magic, my view of casting circle was different than my view of casting circle today. When I first started out, I didn't really have anyone that taught me. I had a woman that I considered a mentor, but she was someone that I would go to with questions and get, the answers to my questions, or get pointed in the direction that I should go to seek out my own answer. She would give me book recommendations, and she really was my mentor, although I didn't really have the opportunities to practice with her. She held circles, she was a high priestess, and she had a coven, and then she did hold sort of open circles. But because of my situation at the time, I was unable to attend. I attended maybe 2 of them, but I was really unable to attend them in an ongoing sense because of the situation I was in at the time. So my experience with circle casting really grew out of discussions with her, discussions with others, and reading so many different books with so many different perspectives on what circle was and why you should cast circle. So in the beginning, when I was first starting out and practicing and casting my own circles, my understanding of what that circle was to protect myself. It was to keep all the bad stuff out while I did my magic within the circle. Because my understanding at the time, and what I believed at the time, was that when you practice magic, when you start doing your thing, you send out these ripples and you attract all kinds of things to what you're doing. If you're practicing magic, you attract all those entities or vibrations or whatever you want to call them to what you're doing. And I needed a circle to make sure kept everything out and only in what I was doing. So in respect, it was a container, but also a shield. And that's how I imagined it when I first started practicing. More a focus on keeping things out than keeping things in. And I attribute this belief to the idea that I had come from a very Christian background, and I at the time was very concerned and very fearful of not only displeasing God, but attracting all that negative stuff. I was just very afraid. As time went on and as I practiced, my understanding sort of shifted a little. It went more from being afraid to more of keeping what I was doing in until I wanted to release it. So it shifted from these things trying to come and are attracted by what I'm doing to, yes, these things may be attracted, but they're not coming to mess me up. They are curious. So then I had an understanding that whatever I was doing within circle, I didn't want other energies disrupting it. Not because they were trying to get me, but that they might inadvertently and unintentionally disrupt what I'm trying to create in this circle. So it was almost like, here I am cooking a soup, and I didn't want the things contaminating what I was doing in the soup and mixing in when I had a certain recipe that I was following. So my idea came from it was to protect to it was to contain, even though I still believed that it was to protect, but I wasn't so concerned about that. To eventually sort of where I am now. Casting Circle has become more of creating a sacred space for myself, for carving out a place that isn't really in this reality and isn't completely in the other realms. It's a bubble that incorporates both. And I've seen it, and what it does for me now is sort of calm the energies in the area and brings about this peace and stillness and silence and sacredness that is a bit in my everyday life, but it's different. It's creating a place where everything is one and everything is sacred. And it's not saying that my everyday life isn't sacred. It's different. It's not. It's sort of like when I cast my circle, I'm creating my church. And not saying that my home is not my sacred space, because it is, but it's sort of making it and saying, you know what? Right now, in this moment, at this time, in this space, I am going to do something, whether it be ritual, whether it be casting a spell, but this time is sacred time, and sort of like dialing up my God and Goddess and all those spirits that are going to work with me. That's sort of what Casting Circle now is for me. I'm not concerned about being protected. I'm not anymore. I know that I'm protected. I am not afraid of what might come and see what I'm doing. In fact, most of the time I invite the energies in with me if I feel it is on the same intention as what I'm doing. So I feel like Circle has evolved, and my reasons for casting and my intentions for casting have evolved. Not that I would disagree that when people cast Circle, it's for protection and it's a shield and it's a container. I still feel it is that, but that's not my main focus for Casting Circle, and that's not my primary reason for Casting Circle anymore. Now, do I always cast Circle? Well, when I'm talking about my personal practice, there are things I do where I always cast Circle. And there are things that I do that I sometimes cast Circle. When I'm sitting here and working incense, or when I'm here doing studies, or when I'm reading for someone, if it's here in my personal sacred space in this dining room, I don't always cast Circle. When I am celebrating a full moon espot, a new moon espot, when I'm actually holding ritual, I always cast Circle. Whether it's for just me or whether it's for the group. Whenever we practice as a group, we always cast Circle. When we're doing anything magical, we always cast Circle. So it depends on, if I'm personally doing things and what my intention is for what I'm doing. When I feel like when I'm making dinner for my family, it's a magical thing, but I don't cast Circle. If I am mixing up an incense, I don't always cast Circle. So there are certain, but then if I'm doing an incense that is going to be used later during ritual, then I will cast Circle. So for me, it's the intention and how I view the thing or the chore or the activity that I'm doing. I guess I have sort of internally a level of what needs Circle and what doesn't. So that's how I feel. And that's my personal thoughts and my personal understandings and what Circle and what Casting Circle means to me. I know witches, and I have friends who don't always cast Circle, and I have some witch friends who never cast Circle. And I wouldn't look to them and think that their reasons or their practice is any less than mine. I understand their reasoning, and I encourage everybody to follow their own path. And I would never classify someone as lesser or less motivated, or I don't even think they put less effort into their practice. I feel like what works for you, and if you feel you have no need to cast a circle, then by all means, why should you adopt a practice that holds no meaning for you? Actually, if you were to do that, I'd find that a little hypocritical, but that's my personal opinion. So those are my thoughts and feelings in regards to casting circle, and do I cast a circle, and what circle means to me. And as always, guys, I love you.
Weave your web of dark and light.